Welcome to Face to Face. I'm your host, Kelly McIntyre, and I'm face to face with Rick Malboeuf, and you're running in Ward 4.
Yes, I am.
So tell everybody at home why you're running this round.
Well, basically, we've lived in Milton for 24 years in Ward 4. Over the past 4 years, I've seen our property taxes go up 17%, which is a greater increase than the total tax increases of the previous 15 years combined. So, despite the increased revenues from the growth of industrial, commercial, and residential, the continued revenues from the slot revenues at Mohawk, increased funding from upper levels of government, this council has still found it necessary to increase taxes. And it's because they can't control spending. Yeah.
So Rick, what do you think, what strengths are you going to come to that election table with?
Well, basically, I've got the political experience. Between 1997 and 2003, I represented Ward 4, both the Milton Local Council as well as the Halton Regional Council. So I sat on Police Service Board, Land Ambulance Advisory Committee, Milton Chamber of Commerce, Milton Hydro Board. So I have those experience. I run my own business. I know how to do budgets. And I know Milton. I've been here 24 years. We've been involved in lots of community events. So I think I bring a lot to the table, fresh ideas, supported with experience.
And Rick, you've been here for a few years, so are you part of the old Milton or the new Milton? Where do we draw the line? And that's a question, do we blend those at some point and just call us Milton? And it's a, you know...
It's funny, so, you know, like I said, we've been here 24 years, and in some areas we're still considered new people.
Yes, yes.
We're still new.
Or if you're a new person to Milton and you buy a home in an old section, does that make you... You've only been here for 6 months, right?
So no, we still have the... no, there's still a lot of people who want to keep the old Milton, and, you know, but... You know, that couldn't happen. I was on council when we approved the growth.
So
we had to.
Yeah.
Okay, there was no way we could not put a wall up around Milton. So, but my concern is we haven't handled the growth well. This council has not handled the growth issues properly.
Well, let's hold that thought. We'll come back and address that in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break. This is Face to Face, only on Milton Today TV, and I am face to face with Rick Malboeuf running in Ward 4. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Face to Face. I'm Kelly McIntyre, and I'm face to face with Rick Malboeuf, running in Ward 4. Before we went to break, we touched on a little bit, again, but let's step back to when you were a councillor in Ward 4. We were looking at that growth. Now, looking at this next 4 years, if you're elected into Ward 4, it's going to be something of it. Well, you think a challenge or exciting?
It's going to be a challenge. I mean, you know, it was a challenge. We knew it was going to be a challenge when we approved it the first time, but when the big pipe was approved and the growth was moved forward, we were sure it was going to be a controlled growth. It was going to be sustainable. And what happened once the shovels hit the ground, that plan went out the window. The developers took control. They were setting the agenda, and that's why we're in the situation we are today. We have to get back to controlling the growth. We have to make sure the infrastructure is properly set up and ready to accommodate the new homes, the number of vehicles, I mean the traffic congestion in Milton.
If you had your Ward 4 running mates in the room in front of us right now, what question would you ask them?
I would ask the incumbent, what have you done in the past 4 years? How have you dealt with the growth issue? Okay, the biggest complaint. What's happened to our parks and our playgrounds? I mean, they've been taken over by weeds. The transit system, we're spending millions of dollars on a transit system to accommodate 1,000 people. It doesn't make sense. We're overspending.
So how will Ward 4 be, if you're elected and looking back, say, 4 years from now, in 2014, how do you think Ward 4 will be better for having you in that position?
I think we're going to get back to the services we used to get. Our parks, we'll promote our parks. We have lots of parks, playgrounds, our walkways, okay, that used to be well kept, well maintained. Okay, they're not anymore. We're paying more in taxes and receiving less services. I will be, you know, on council. The time we were in council, we fought for zero budgets and we got it. You have to be able to say no to staff. Staff recommendations are that, staff recommendations. It's up to council to control that spending.
Well, Rick, let's just hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment with more Face to Face. I'm Kelly McIntyre. Welcome back to Face to Face. I'm Kelly McIntyre, and I'm face to face with Rick Malboeuf, running in Ward 4. Now, let me ask you, we've been talking a bit about the community, and if different communities are like people with different personalities, what would you like to see the personality of Milton to be versus other cities?
Well, I like the, I've always liked the old Milton, the small town atmosphere that we had here. That's why we moved here in the first place. I think we can still get some of that back despite the growth. So I'd like to see more movement to that. I mean, we're doing a lot of good things. The Rib Fest that weekend, the classic car shows downtown. So we have to maintain those and keep that happening. So, but that's what I like to see. Try to get, still
Sense of
keep
community.
that small town atmosphere that we've had, but understanding that we have growth and we have a lot of new people and different cultures that we never experienced in Milton before. So hopefully we can work towards that.
And Rick, if you're looking back on your life at this point, what would you say your biggest accomplishment would be, personally as well as business-wise?
I mean, well, personally, it was, raising 4 kids and I have 2 grandchildren, so I'm proud of that. And I've got a military background, so 3 years in the United States Army, so I was proud of that service. Business-wise, I've had my own small business for 25 years, Milton-based, so happy with that. And I'm proud of the accomplishments I had while I was on council.
And we've got to ask you, we've gotten to know you a little bit in this interview, but maybe tell everybody at home something we might not know about you, hobbies or interests.
Well, hobbies, both my wife and I play softball in Milton. We're both members of the Milton Curling Club. I enjoy golfing. So I'm active in the community, active sports-wise. So.
Oh, great. So, and again, you're running in Ward 4. So if people want more information, is there a website or should they look
The
around?
website's not up yet, but I have a phone number, 905-875-5019 or 905-878-0111 or rmalboeuf@hotmail.com.
Rick Malboeuf, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much for going face to face.
Thank you very much.
This is Face to Face with Kelly McIntyre, only on Milton Today TV.